Maye, trash. Achane, trash. Nico, trash. And Adams, well, he's old. But I'm not talking about their talent. I'm talking about what you're paying for it. So first, let's start with Drake Maye. He's being drafted around pick 58 as the QB3 off the board. And the appeal is real. I get it. Maye averaged 21.1 fantasy points per game last season, tied for second in the league, only behind Josh Allen. But here's the issue with that number. You can get that same production much later in your draft. Patrick Mahomes is available at pick 108, and he averaged the exact same 21.1 points per game. Brock Purdy, pick 113, averaged 20.8 points per game last year, 3/10 off of Drake Maye. And Justin Herbert, he goes around pick 86 and just got a massive offensive coordinator upgrade and got both starting tackles back. So the question isn't whether Maye is good, because obviously he is. It's what you give up by taking him at pick 58. And what you're passing on is running backs like Travis Etienne, Quinshad Judkins, possibly Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams. And you're passing on receivers like Jalen Waddle, Mike Ibuka, Luther Burden, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, guys like that are actual starters in your lineup. And the trade-off is simple on paper. You can have Mahomes, Herbert, Purdy plus guys like Judkins or Ibuka, or you can have Maye plus a Wandale Robinson or Josh Downs tier player. The second option costs you a starter at positions that are more rare than quarterback. So to me, it just doesn't make sense. So next, Davante Adams. He's going in the early second round, drafted as a top 6 running back, I believe pick 10 overall on average. The talent's not the argument here. Achane has been one of the most efficient running backs in all of football the past 2 seasons. He's led the league in fantasy points per touch multiple years in a row, and when he's on the field, he produces. The concern is the situation around him. There's a historical pattern, as you can see my boy Dynasty Juggernaut has said so elegantly, but since 2015, only 3 running backs have been drafted in the first 3 rounds of fantasy drafts while playing on a team that Vegas win totals to win 4.5 or fewer games, and it did not work well for any of them. That's the question mark that Miami's offense carries this year. As you can see, all of these guys underproduced drastically. So at an early second price, maybe even late of the first price, you're drafting Achane at a ceiling. The efficiency is already priced in. And if you want a running back in that range, there are much better options without the same level of offensive risk. That being James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Saquon Barkley, and Chase Brown are all big names on elite offenses that are going after Davante Adams. Then there's Nico Collins. He's going as the wide receiver 8 off the board, drafted right around the guys like A.J. Brown, George Pickens, Chris Olave, Rashee Rice, Drake London. And Collins is a generally good player. He's elite, actually. That's not up for debate. The problem is everything around him carries question marks this year. Houston's defense is elite, which is going to limit their shootouts. They're going to be running the clock out in most fourth quarters. They finally invested in the run game, bringing in David Montgomery. So how much does that affect their passing game? Can they not just play ball control the whole game and lean on their defense and their run game? His receiving room is the best it's ever been, with Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Tank Dell. They're all competing for targets. And then now quarterback. CJ Stroud needs to return to form and the passing volume that we saw his rookie year. Any one of those question marks is manageable, but when you stack it together, that's a lot of what ifs that you're paying for with a second round pick. At wide receiver 8, you're paying for a target share and a touchdown upside that he may just not see. And so I would much rather go with any of the other picks that I named at that point in the draft. And then finally, you have Davante Adams. Well, he's going as the wide receiver 19, roughly pick 54. And Adams is one of the best receivers of this generation, and he's still going to have some spike weeks. But last season, his entire production was built on 14 touchdowns, and that's not a number he's repeating. Touchdown production like that regresses, and when it does, the volume is just not there for him. The clearest way to see what's sitting next to him on the board within a few picks, you can get Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Luther Burden, Lad McConkey, Roma Dunze, all younger players with a higher floor of targets and less reliance on touchdown to return value. And then at wide receiver 19, you're paying for last year's touchdown production and not the player that you're getting this season. Always draft with future value in mind and not just the player's name and what they did last year. Drafting players for what they did the year prior is the fastest way to lose out on value. All right, so to recap, Maye at 58 costs you a starting running back or receiver for QB production that you can get 4 to 6 rounds later. Achane is priced on efficiency with offense levels baked risk risk baked in. Collins is a mid-second round pick carrying a stack of question marks, and Adams is a 33-year-old priced on touchdown total that won't repeat. The common thread's the same. All four are talented players, but at their current ADP, you're paying for the best possible outcome instead of the most likely one. Always draft value, not name recognition. And if you're on the clock and you have a question mark about what to draft, who to pick, drop it in the comments and I'll help you decide. And if you like any more mid-season draft breakdowns, subscribe, making fantasy content all year. Appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.